Hello everyone and welcome to the 2018 Throwdown the Mountain 6 presented by Sun King and Discraft. This PDGA A-Tier takes place in Brooksville, Florida, and I'm bringing you the front nine action from round number 1. A great group featuring Kolte Breck, Dallas Kesner, Paul McBeth, Brian Pete, and Austin Turner. The last two champions of this event both featured here in Turner and McBeth. It's a shot of the spotter and super volunteer Dwayne Reeder. Thank you so much, Dwayne, for your hospitality over the weekend. Hole number 1, 260 feet, plays slightly uphill. And Colt saws that one off. That's left and probably down the hill. The play is a mid-range, usually right up the middle. You can give it a little bit more air, as you see with Dallas, but getting the nose up on that disc is going to make it come up short if you don't put enough mustard on it. McBeth low and direct, coming in with a McPro Rock 3 straight up the gut. Brian Pete hangs it out wide to the right, gets it to be pin high. He's inside 25 feet, looking at a birdie. And the lefty, the only lefty on the card, Austin Turner, also trying to make quick and easy work here on hole number 1. Really, the mistake you can make here is going left, right, or deep. So you need to have just the right amount of control, and a forehand puts him right next to the basket. Colt's looking at a par. Dallas is going to give his first putt of the day. Just a little bit too much. Center chains with authority. Great opening putt there by Brian Pete. He walks away with a birdie too. See a little bit of the bush in that bottom left, kind of wavering. Otherwise, the flag on top of the basket. Not too much wind to speak of out here. It's a gorgeous 70-plus degree day on a Friday afternoon in Florida. Excited about this round and the entire weekend to come. Turner with the birdie and McBeth with the birdie. So, hole 1, we see 3 birdies and 2 pars to get things started. This hole features 2 gaps, and throughout the years it seems like really the only play is this left side gap. Some players could play it wider to the right, take that outside gap, but you're not seeing as many people take it. The left side gap is just about as wide these days. And not sure which gap he was going for, but Brian does fight through the right side. Turner's forehand, a little turn, but then it comes out of it, and he actually outdrives McBeth. The flagged area right there, that is a casual OB area, or should I say you get casual relief from there. There is not a penalty. It's just really wet and muddy. It seems like that's where water always collects. They got some rain down there recently, and players do not have to stand in that. They can bring it out without a penalty on the line of play, and Colt is going to fight through this left side. Still not out of the woods yet. And unfortunately, he's playing to the other side where there are more woods. That was his 3rd shot. This is a par 4, 580 feet. And you see Brian is out where you would really want to land your initial drive. Forehand to the short left side. That'll work for Dallas. He's going to have a look at the basket, but not really a good run. And McBeth is just to the right of this mushy area. And a solid standstill forehand rolls up and hits the pin. Can't ask for much more than that. Turner's approach is similar, except he goes with the forehand and pretty much the same result. Colt's 4th shot. Oh no, it hangs up in the tree. There is no 2-meter rule that's being played for the weekend, so he won't be penalized, but he's going to be significantly short of the pin. Dallas trying to go up and over, fighting out and around it. Colt's got a long jumper to save the bogey, and not quite enough. Very impressive. There's no editing there. That was his first shot. Throwing the water bottle up there. That's a pro move. Do not, I repeat, do not throw another disc up there, as you could get penalized for doing so. Find some other object to throw. Some people carry a baseball just for that reason alone. As Colt puts in, that's going to be a double bogey. And both Dallas and Brian cleaning up for their bogeys. And birdies had by the previous two champions, Turner and McBeth. So pretty interesting scoring there. We've got birdies by McBeth and Turner, bogeys by Dallas, Kesner, and Brian Pete, and the double bogey by Kolte Breck. Hole 3 features a brand new teeing area. If you've watched throughout the last few years of coverage, this is not where they've teed from. Mike Barnett, the tournament director, says this is a little more reminiscent of the course you previously saw here over a decade ago. So lots of clearing out to be able to throw off of this ledge. And that's a pretty good play, although he wasn't trying to play it off there. If that can just sit down, the players are ultimately going to be throwing straight up the fairway from there. This is really a placement shot off the tee. Throw it out over this ledge, trying just to get it to land in the center so that you can throw up another tunnel. This hole is not really twoable unless somebody throws one in blindly from 200 feet. And a hyzer comes in and finishes short and left. You'd love to be on the right side of that tree you just saw. And as this one's coming out, it has a little too much straightness, if that's a term. I don't think it is. And that gravel path that goes up the hill, that's exactly where you want to be. Colt is in good position right there. Just a little bit low. Turner's going to rely on the forehand. Not enough height there. And maybe the elevation change and the footing giving Brian a little bit of challenge there. McBeth has a very similar stance. We'll see how he handles it. Oh, and he's going to get the bank off the wall and a roll to the basket. I guess if you like that sort of thing. Dallas's forehand is low. You know, some of these guys aren't used to playing in any elevation down in Florida. And Dallas is going to circle right around the pin. He's looking at a par. Ryan for par is short and left. Colt's par also just short. Austin Turner told us during this round that in the last few years he's been at this course, he has not taken a bogey as he makes that putt for par from 25 feet or so. That will be Turner's first par of the round and McBeth's third consecutive birdie to get things started here. You hear the road that goes by on this hole, the next hole, a little bit on holes 10, 11, and 13 as the backside of the course butts up against that one road. Great start. McBeth is 3 under through 3. McBeth asking for it to work. You gotta stay clean on this hole. Coming in at 380 feet.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow is right. Turner's forehand. Seems like he turned that one over. No wind to speak of, as that gets a goofy kick to the left side. This hole, you need to throw it low and straight, and then you need to play for somewhat of a skip. The problem is the skip needs to go forward. The skip really can't flare skip hard left. That's not going to do anything for you. You need it to skip more or less straight. So angle, release, angle in which it hits the ground, all very critical. And Turner's forehand puts him up there. Looking at a par, that was a really good recovery shot. Kolte asking to split the uprights, no go. Dallas has the forehand approach. And you'll see this is one of a handful of holes where the basket is on the hillside. So making sure you come in flat, as you saw McBeth's putt right there, there's a really good chance for things to get up and roll. And so sliding up to the basket or coming in at just the right angle, you want to be very, very careful how you're doing it, because putts like that hit metal, then come down, can get on edge and very quickly roll away. Turner, another solid par save. Colt with a little bit of work to do, and wow, that one sits down for him. He's very fortunate it did. Brian ultimately cards the bogey, as does Dallas, and Colt with the double bogey. A little bit of everything there. We've got pars, bogey, double bogey. A little bit shorter hole here. Hole number 5, 215 feet. I believe that's a Firebird for McBeth, trying to play up that left side. And looks to be very effective. That's a glow nuke that I believe Turner's throwing there. So at just 215 feet, they're really playing more for the stability and the placement than they are obviously the distance. Dallas hitting the tree on the right side, and Brian flirting with it, but instead parks it. Colt, who's struggled on the last few holes, seems to put himself on track with that one. He's got a great look at birdie. This is Dallas's second shot.
Those are the ones I was trying to sell, right? Yeah.
And for the second hole in a row, we see Dallas, or should I say third hole. His approach is low, and there it is. There's a roll. And no, don't do it. Don't do it. There's a fence line. And sure enough, he's taking advantage. You can, anytime you go out of bounds, you can throw from where you were last inbounds, or you can throw from where you were last throwing from. So in this case, rather than going down the hill and playing from the fence line, he opted to re-putt from where he just was. And then unfortunately struggled with a couple more putts, but always take note of where you are, because sometimes if you roll away and find yourself OB, say 100 feet away, and you were only putting from 30 feet, well, you can actually just re-putt from where you were, with penalty still. McBeth with an easy birdie. Turner with the easy birdie. Colt had the birdie, as does Brian. And Dallas with a penalty struggles here. He's going to take the quadruple bogey. Interesting scorecard. I hate to point it out, but 4 players took 8 shots. Dallas had 7 on his own. Let's hope he can recover from that.
Just sit down.
McBeth asking for it to sit down. I think the play here is you want to throw short of the basket, maybe 15, 20 feet. Let it skip to the pin, because if you're coming in right at the pin, you're going to hit as McBeth did, and you're going to go way past it. That green is relatively fast down there, very short grass. But you got to keep it clean. Brian's going to be short. Colt going right up the middle, hugging that left side, but he'll have a putt. He's just about pin high. I do really like the play here by Dallas. It's going for the control. It's 255, probably plays closer to 200, and he goes with a standstill and finds himself just inside Paul McBeth's. Brian's got about 50 feet here. High leg kick, and another birdie for McBeth. That's going to put him at 4 under through the first, or correction, that'll put him 5 under through the first 6 holes. Only missing hole number 4. Colt's in with the birdie. No movement on the flag. Birds chirping in the background. 75 degrees in Florida. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why you guys weren't there. This is amazing. I want to thank Mike Barnett, Sun King, and Discraft for the opportunity to be down there. I also like to thank Jeff from last year's AMs with Cams. Thank you for being our catch cam, Jeff. Both you and your girlfriend Hannah, super helpful throughout the entire weekend. So we see 4 birdies in 5 attempts. Holy cow. That's 8 birdies in the last 10 chances over the last 2 holes. McBeth hanging it high. This is also a slightly different hole for those that are familiar with hole 7. Used to kind of just play down to a little cutout area from a slightly different tee. So they step down in the tee, but then move the basket a few hundred feet, making this a par 4. A really great looking 685 foot par 4. You really just can't come up short. You can't go long either, because if you come up short, you're going to find yourself in that sawgrass. If you go long, you could also find it. So it's just a big hyzer play for a righty. But placement is crucial, and you just saw a good-looking shot there by Dallas. And that's going to be really punishing. Fighting out of that area. Looks like Brian is going from one side to another. And Turner pushed that far left, that far deep side a little bit too much. That's why he had to go with more of a spike on the approach. McBeth, however, pretty much out in the open. He's got a turnover mid-range coming in, and that's got a great backstop. You can be really aggressive when you're coming in at this pin. Dallas giving it plenty of juice, but just a bit right. That hill area is 15 to 25 feet behind the pin, so I think if you're at any distance outside of 150, 200 feet, you don't have to be shy about running at this one. And a very well-placed shot there by Brian. Colt follows suit, and Turner's got a birdie look from downtown uphill. Great birdie by Austin Turner. His scorecard remains flawless throughout. That's going to put him 5 under, and McBeth for birdie. And he spent a good 28.5 seconds getting in there, finding his placement. That was not an easy stance for him. I really expected him to make the putt. Just released low. And we're going to see, again, a little mixture of scores here. Turner carding the birdie. 3 pars coming in from Colt, Dallas, and McBeth. And Brian. Pew, pew, pew. We see it, Brian, coming in with the bogey on that one. Two to play here on the front 9. This also features a different pin position. The pin used to be down and to the right. A little ambiguity as to where you went OB. Kind of held things up. And Mike said that this looks like a really good alternative. You need to throw something somewhat stable. Play it low. And again, I think like hole 6, you want to come in short. Behind the green is nasty. It's very tight, very congested, not very many good looks at it. So you want to come in short and skip up to the pin. I like the release. Maybe a little too short for Dallas, but he'll have a look from there. Yeah, that Brian says that's short. Oh, again, a little too short there, Brian. A little bit too high on the approach. Dallas has a long jumper and gives it a good run. I don't think he's going to be rewarded with the look behind him. And Turner, interesting play. He lays that one up, not really giving that a run at all, just trying to get it next to the pin. And Colt finds some shrubbery just behind the basket as well. And here's what I was talking about. When you are just behind the pin, 15, 20 feet, can really obstruct your putt. I think Colt was stretching, maybe doing some Pilates back there. Top basket. He's lucky that didn't roll further. And that's just how punishing it is behind that pin. So make sure to take note of that for future rounds. Brian also behind it. High chain and in. Seen the portable chain stars catch everything here today. And McBeth with a great birdie. That's going to push him to 6 under through 8. And after the layup by Turner, which I didn't think Turner could lay up. 9th hole coming up. 440 feet. And that is a good line by McBeth. He needed about 3 feet more height. But if you were looking for a near perfect drive on this hole, look at Paul McBeth, just about 3 feet higher. And for the lefty Turner, that is just a little bit too much hyzer to it. This hole features a different tee. There was a lot of congestion between 9 and 18 in previous years. And this year, moving the tee here kind of eliminates some of that congestion. Those two actually had crossing or intersecting fairways in the past, and now this different tee area completely alleviates that.
Get past the tree. Get past the tree.
McBeth rooting for it to get past the tree, and that's a pretty good look.
Oh yeah, baby.
I don't know if I'd go with "oh yeah, baby," but that one turns out, and hyzer finishes for Brian. So he's got to play high and wide, trying to get up to this beautifully placed green. And he's going to be at the bottom of the hill looking up. And Turner's fighting from that right side. And a solid approach there by Dallas, who's got a little work to do. Brian for his par. Colt saying that's awkward as he's lunging forward.
Come on, get that.
Oh, and McBeth willing it in, asking it for it to get there.
Less than 6 feet. Yeah, that was 15 feet. I know they moved it.
Uh-oh. This guy's playing catch out there? I don't know, bust out the aerobie or something. Turner saves his par, and we're wrapping up here on the front nine. McBeth with the birdie, Brian Pete with the bogey. The rest will have pars. I want to thank, again, Jeff. I want to thank the readers, gracious hosts throughout the weekend. I'd like to thank Mike Barnett, Sun King, Discraft, all these great players. This beautiful course. I'm looking forward to bringing you more action on the back nine. Got some great scoring here, everything from +5 to -7. We'll see you on the back.